All right, here we go. We are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris. This is We Love Comics, and today we're going to be showing the actually five books I'm going to be sending to PGX. So at the end, I'll explain why there's a fifth book, especially if you haven't been keeping up to date with my recent videos. But as always, while I'm waiting for people to come in, if you want to critique the AI art, good, bad, or indifferent, I'll leave that up to you. You could leave it in the comments section. But I want to do my shout out to my Patreon members. Any of my paid Patreon members get a shout out every single video. You can either have your first name mentioned, or if you want a social media page or your YouTube channel mentioned instead, just let me know. And if you want to join my Patreon, which helps support my channel, and also help support me, basically supporting the lives of about 20 to 25 stray cats with feeding them and vet bills and all that other wonderful stuff. You can join at patreon.com/we love comics. And once we get to 20 paid members, I got some giveaways that I want to give away. So I'm just waiting to get to that 20 paid member mark, and we'll make that happen. But shout out to Carl Sith, Michael B, Kevin W, James R, Dan L, Kim N, Annabelle N, Jason B, Steve L. If you have the Instagram, check out Scott at ScottWU077. So again, that's Instagram. Check out Scott at ScottWU077. If you have Facebook, you could check out Darth Bleak at Stephen L. Turk Author. Wrote a book, writing a series of books. Hopefully, you'll help support his ability to continue his creations. And then last but not least, again, if you have Instagram, check out Silver Age Surfer at _Surfer_comics. And tell them all that We Love Comics sent you, because I guarantee you they will appreciate it. So there is no minimum to get your name up there. The only minimum to join anybody's Patreon is $2. So you could do the bare minimum and that'll get your name up there. And the same thing with the contest. There is no minimum other than the minimum to join anybody's Patreon. But as you can see, if you get 20 paid members and up, there's different levels of giveaways that I'm going to be sending out. I will pay for the shipping, mail it to anyone, anywhere across the world. So you're not limited to somebody living in the 48 continental United States or the 2 states outside of the continental US. I will mail it out to anyone as long as they are a paid member. Now, again, there is no minimum to join the contest, but for every $2 you put in your account with We Love Comics, you'll get one entry. So the more you put in, the more chances you'll get once we get to 20 paid members. So you can pause that at any time if you want to check out all the different giveaways and the levels. So still looking to make my first trade. I want to make a big boy comic acquired, show my viewers that, if you stick to your guns and you don't give up hope, eventually your dreams will come true. I'm looking to acquire any and all of these books via trade. Most of my books are up for trade. If it takes 25 of my books to get one of these and it's a fair trade, I have no problem with doing it. It's a great way for two parties to get books that they want without having to spend thousands of dollars to do it, which you may or may not have. You don't have to worry about literally hundreds of dollars of added taxes on top of that when you purchase from a store or a website. And also, again, tax-free at the end of the year because trades are non-taxable. So if you did trades all your life instead of just getting paid dollars from a business, if you did everything via barter system, you'd pay zero in taxes because there is no taxes on trade. So if you have any of these books or you know somebody that might have them, check out my videos, see what comics you might be interested in, even things that are not comic related, like my Star Wars original toys and other signed collectibles and stuff like that. Anything you've seen in the video, you can at least ask. Worst I can say is no. But if you want to make it happen, contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. GT Key Comic is first, one of my moderators, always, for the most part, like 95% of the time, first. Always good to see you, my friend. Dan Lewis is here. Come join the live chat because I always do a surprise subscriber shout out at the end. You don't even have to be a subscriber to get that shout out. All you have to do is be in the live chat during the live show. And the more you comment, the more you may catch my eye and pick you for the surprise subscriber shout out. So let's show the books. So to anybody that's never used PGX before, I have been doing this once a month for going on 8 years. It's over 7.5 years at this point. Um, been a great ride. Want to continue to do it. They charge me only $50 to get my book, 4 books each month to get graded, pressed, dry cleaned, signature verification if need be, and grader's notes added to the back of the slabs. To me, that's an amazing deal. And also, I want to make sure it helps them because hopefully it'll get them new customers. So if you've never used PGX before on your order slip, tell them that you came from We Love Comics. So this way they can kind of keep a check on who's actually buying and coming from my channel. Now, I wanted to make sure there's a deal for you guys as well. So I made sure there's a coupon for you. If you send 10 books or more to PGX, use the code We Love Comics Free Press. They will allow you to press one of the books absolutely free. So depending on the book, I mean, it could be anywhere from a $20 to $30 value. I always recommend people indicate which book they would like to be pressed. Otherwise, they'll just randomly pick one of the 10 or more that you send in. Speaking of the graders notes, it was my idea to Daniel Patterson, the owner of PGX, to implement the graders notes where they put them on the back of the slab. Um, I don't think I have any. No, actually, yeah, I'll show you just really quick. This was my idea. So they'll actually put the graders notes. It's a $5 charge, but they'll put them right on the back of the slab. No other company does that. I wish they would all do it, but it's a great way, especially if you're going to sell a book. You don't have to worry about going to a website and finding out the graders notes are not there or guessing of what it is because maybe your internet is down and you have no access to a computer. It's right there, tells you exactly what's wrong with the book. So, unless of course it's like a 9.8, 9.9, or a 10, usually not going to be graders notes on those. But if you want to use the graders notes and add them to your slab, use the code We Love Comics Graders Notes, $5 charge per, and you'll have that information posted right on the back of the slab. I love it. You may love it. You may not like it. I leave it up to you. So, with that being said, I got 4 books, and there's going to actually be 5 this month. I'll explain at the end if you're curious about that. If you've been following my videos recently, you'll probably know why. But if not, you'll get that information now. So Hudat's here as well. Hudat Comics and Movies, another one of my moderators, says hello, good evening, all. Good to see you, my friend. Let's get into it. So we're going to get back into this one. Hudat says, I like to think when PGX started to put out greatest notes on the back, CGC decided to give them for free. Hey, you never know, but still, again, I've heard a lot of times with CGC, you go to their website for greatest notes and there's nothing there. So, free is good if it's useful. But again, I personally, that's why I asked Daniel if he would do this, and he was kind enough to listen. I mean, I'm just a YouTuber that has maybe 200 views on a video. And yes, I have 10,000 subscribers, but I have nowhere near the amount of people that actually watch. For him to listen to me and my idea, I mean, he really had nothing to lose. But I mean, how many companies do you know where you can call the owner of the company and they'll actually listen to you, and not only listen to you, actually implement things. So I like that. So I like the fact that you can have them placed directly on the slab. You don't have to worry about trying to find them on a website, only to find out they may or may not be there. And if you're selling stuff, for example, on eBay, you don't have to put any links to anything. They don't have to go search anywhere. You can just show the back of the slab, and the greatest notes are right there. That's why I asked them, and I wish more companies would do it. But always appreciate you, my friend. And he said, makes you think. Yeah, it's possible. Wouldn't shock me. But again, I would rather have them on the slab than on a website, especially if computers go down, your electricity goes down, you have no access. When they're on the slab, they're right there. All right, so let's get into the comics. And if you want to hit the thumbs up or thumbs down, I will leave it up to you. I appreciate either way because it means it's showing traffic to my channel. So do what you will and have fun with it. So this is one I forgot last month. I have the whole entire set of Avengers vs. X-Men. This is just the regular issue. It's not the variants. If you can find the variants of these books, get them because eventually Avengers vs. X-Men is coming to the MCU. Now, of course, there are no guarantees or anything like that, but the time to buy spec books or any kind of investment speculation is not when all the news is already out and the hype is already there and the prices are already skyrocketing. You want to get them and no one cares about them. So I have the complete set. The complete set is issues 0 through 13. So get the complete set. You can get them relatively cheap. Now, as you can see with the scribble on there, each one of these that I bought in this set has between 5 and 6 signatures on every single one. So because PGX has in-house pressings and dry cleanings and has in-house signature verification, for me to send these in is almost a no-brainer. So this is, of course, there is no certificate of authenticity, but I always research signatures before I buy something. I mean, the easiest way to do that is look at, for example, you can go to a certain signature, like let's just say Todd McFarlane. You can go to eBay. You can go to look up a CGC Todd McFarlane signed book that has the yellow label, which means it was witnessed, and you can compare them to the signatures that you see on your books or something you're about to buy. Now, that doesn't guarantee that it's authentic, but I mean, if you see Todd McFarlane's signature all over the place a certain way, and you see one that looks like chicken scratch, odds are it's probably fake. But I've never had a problem where I've come across a signature that ended up not being verified because I make sure I do my due diligence and don't just buy something on blind faith. So this has 5 signatures on it. Again, some of them have 6, but most of them have 5. But this is signed by Oliver Copiel, Jimmy Chung, Jason Aaron, Matt Fraction, and Jonathan Hickman. And I've already gotten issue 0, 1, and 2. So this is issue number 3. I want to send them in one of these each month with the 4 comics. So it'll take about a year to do. I forgot to do it last month. So this month I'm starting that back up again. So far they've come back all 9/8. I think the number 1 issue might have been a 9/6. I don't remember. But the majority of them come back 9/8. So these were all in the same purchase. I only paid for this book. Let me pull up the thing. And oh, by the way, right after this video, I'm going to shut this video off and I'm going to do the 2 EGS books I'm going to be sending in. So it won't be in this same run. You'll have to reset and look on my channel. So stay tuned after this for the 2 EGS books I'm sending. But I only paid where is it? $16.87 for this book. So the entire run cost me about less than $17 a piece for comics that have high grades and have 5 and 6 signatures on each issue. There is not one that has an unsigned comic in it, and not one has less than 5 signatures. So for me, at $16, no brainer. Now's the time to get these. In my opinion, you go with what you think is best. So this one, I'm going to stick with the other. It doesn't look any different from all the others. Still looks really good. So I'm going to say between a 9.4 and a 9.8 with white pages. So I'm sticking to that. With that, we'll see what happens. All right, now here's a book I've never sent in the almost 8 months, in almost the 8 years I've been sending books every month to PGX. I've never sent this book. Now, I bought this probably in 2016, 2017, and paid such a ridiculous price for this as far as how low I paid. Obviously, I didn't pay cover price, but for me, no matter what the grade is, to me, this is a no-brainer. Got G.I. Joe #1. This, of course, is a key book. It's not a newsstand or anything like that, but I'm perfectly fine with that. First appearance of the comic book version of G.I. Joe. Never really got into G.I. Joe when I was a kid. Never really was into the military kind of stuff. But, you know, there's obviously hundreds of thousands of people who've enjoyed the G.I. Joe comics. But I used to always love, at least at the end of the cartoons, they would always have like some kind of thing that you learn, and they'd be like, "Oh, well, now I know." And then the GI Joe character say, "And knowing's half the battle." So if you remember that, put that in the comments section. But this one has a lot of pressable defects, as you can see. You could absolutely see it right there. This it does not break color, but you can see there's a big crease in the book. There's a couple of wrinkles front and back. So pressing is absolutely going to increase the amount of the grade bump in this. And PGX, in my opinion, through my experience, does amazing work with their pressings. So I only paid $16 for this book. That includes shipping and handling. And well, when I bought this, there were no eBay taxes, but that included shipping and handling. So I paid $16 for this book. Now, it's not a 9.8 and it's not going to be a 9.8. But I am saying, depending on how the couple of wrinkles that, again, are non-color breaking will be handled with the pressing, I'm going to give it a range between a 7.0 and a 9.0. Usually, I do a smaller range, but when it comes to stuff like this, like I said, you could see it. I had a better angle before. There you go. You could see it. That does not break color, but there is a bump. So pressing, we'll see how good it is. Maybe they go the extra mile and do a couple of pressings on it. Who knows? So there are no guarantees, but I would say between a 7.0 and a 9.0 with white pages, even if it comes back a 7.0 for $16, I think I'll do well with that one. Next up, this is another book I've never graded before. I actually own two copies of this. I bought these years ago, high grade, and I never realized this until recently when I was going through my comics when the storm was coming, the hurricane, and we were leaving. I was trying to take as many key comics as I could and try and organize stuff to keep minimal amounts of comics blowing away if that was the case. And I came across these books and never realized this, but this is a book most people may not know about. This is Vortex number 5. Now, this is actually the first appearance of Cyberfrog. This predates Cyberfrog number 1. Now, of course, Cyberfrog is not on the level like, for example, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, but it does have a cult following. Now, one thing I didn't realize until later on is this one is actually signed by the creator, Matthew Martin. This book in a 9.8 could sell for thousands of dollars. Now, will the character ever get into mainstream? Who knows? But then again, I remember back in the 80s when people first heard about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, no one ever knew that they were going to be what they are today. So, can they reach that level? Anything's possible, but I doubt it. But you never know. Stranger things have happened. I mean, look what they did with Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, nobody cared about the Guardians of the Galaxy before those movies. So anything can happen. But I paid a grand total of $6.99 for this book. Because, like I said, I bought this a couple of years ago. Totally forgot I even had it. I have another copy of it, but it's not signed. So I figured since they do the signature verification, might as well get this one graded. This one's in pristine grade. This looks gorgeous. The corners, as you could see, are sharp. This looks like a book that somebody had and never read. You can even see in the bottom here, no wrinkles, no bends, no creases. It comes to an exact point. But even though I think this is going to come back a 9.8, I never assume, because you never know. Page 17 could have a bend in it that I don't know about. When I have a higher grade book that has a 9.8 potential, I do not open it because, one little bend, there goes your 9.8. So if there is like a crease on page 14 or something like that, I'm not going to know until it gets graded. So I never assume that something is going to automatically be a 9.8. So I always do a range of 9.4 to 9.8. But for $6.99, and again, that includes shipping and handling. If this came back a 9.8, especially signed, that's going to be a pretty decent book. All right, book 4. This to me is a no-brainer. I mean, if you're a comic book collector, you have this most likely in your collection. I got so many copies of this book, this Amazing Spider-Man number 300. Now, one thing I recommend, I mean, if you could find the Mark Julis variant, I wish this was, because those are pretty rare. If you can come up with a Mark Julis variant of this book, buy it, and buy it again. But I also recommend the newsstand variants because they are rarer. They're not rare, but they are rarer than the regular version of Amazing Spider-Man 300. Now, of course, this is an iconic cover that's been used 5,000 different times on 5,000 different comics, including other comics done by Todd McFarlane himself. He's actually basically plagiarized himself, but it's his creation. He could do it. This is the first full appearance of Venom. first time um, well, I'm not sure if this is the first time it's ever on a cover. No, definitely not. But iconic cover, 30th anniversary, newsstand. This is again has a couple of non-color break increases, but there is a spine tick here and there, nothing major. But I paid $395.57 for this book. I believe it's going to come between an 8.5 and a 9.2, so higher grade. But especially with the Venom movie coming and the rumors of Venom coming, switching to the MCU at a certain point, this book is a no-brainer. Prices have gone down, but that's the time to buy it. If you think this book is ever going to zero, you're crazy. Some people, they are what they call bottom fishers, bottom feeders, where they're always trying to find the lowest amount, and they wait so long they miss an opportunity. So, in my opinion, I really think you've seen the closest to the bottom you're going to get for these books. Now there is a little wiggle room, so I'm not saying we're absolute rock bottom, but I think we're at the lower levels. And when the movie comes out, and then when you see if the rumors are true that Venom will indeed come to the MCU from that point on, and for example, the Marvel version of Spider-Man ends up getting the suit, the Venom symbiote, I mean, this book is going to be in such high demand. Now, is this a rare book? No, but I cannot stress the fact of how many people think that just because something's rare, it's valuable, and something just because it's not rare means it has no value. Those people don't understand how basic economics work because it always goes by supply and demand. This could have 10 million copies, which it doesn't, but this could have 10 million copies. If 11 million people want those 10 million copies, that means there is a 1 million copy deficit, which means 1 million people, if they want this book, are going to have to outbid one another to be able to get the book. So if there is a desirability for something, it's going to increase the value based on demand and also based on supply. That's why, like I said, I recommend getting the newsstand variant at least. And if you can find the very rare Mark Jewelers variant of this book, which I do not own. I have a lot of Mark Jewelers, but I do not have an Amazing Spider-Man 300 version. If you can find that book, grab it, and then grab it. Grab it like it's the guy or girl that you met in your dreams and you want to take her off the market and ask them to marry you that day. That's how rare that book is and very desirable, especially coming in the future. Because, like I say all the time, I base my comics that I purchase not where they've been, not where they are, but where I think they're headed. And if I have to buy stuff years in advance and have to wait years to get that to certain situations to happen, I have no problem with that. And one of the things I used to tell people on my old channel, it's called Bar 911-970, is better to be 10 years too early than 10 seconds too late. So $395.57, I'm saying roughly between an 8.5 and a 9.2 off white to white pages. So those are the four books, and let's get into the fifth. So before I do that, I want to thank everybody that's in the live chat. We're going to do today's surprise subscriber shout out. After that, if you want to join in, this is your chance to put something in the live chat. But this particular book, if you watch my 4 PGX books from last week, they incorrectly marked this one as a newsstand. This is actually a Mark Jewelers variant. Because I thought I have so many of these, I thought maybe I made a mistake and picked the wrong one and maybe put the label on the wrong one. So they did label it a 9.4, but they marked it only as a newsstand, which is dramatically different from what the price would be for this book. So this, of course, is New Mutants 98. This is a Mark Jewelers variant, which is only between 5 and 7% of a total print run. Again, New Mutants 98 is not rare, but a New Mutants 98 in a Mark Jewelers is pretty darn much rarer. I can't say rare, but like I said, if you see right here, this was graded a 9.4. So I'm going to resubmit it, and it's most likely going to come back a 9.4. Maybe they press it again and it comes back a 9.6. But even with that, I'm still happy with a 9.4 because, to get this book in a Mark Jewelers in such high grade, Not many of them out there. So don't always go by people saying, "Oh, don't buy a book like that because it's just been so overprinted." Good luck finding a 9.0 or higher of a New Mutants 98 Mark Euler's variant. You're going to find them, but you're not going to find many, and they're not going to be cheap. So to have this as a 9.4, and all I have to do is resubmit it, and they'll just basically, you know, put the correct label. It is a mistake. So that is a bad job on their behalf, but it's easily fixable and they'll fix it for me, no problem. So at the very least, I won't have the book for another month or two. I wasn't planning on selling it this week or this month anyway. It was just going to go in one of my boxes or on the shelf. So no big deal. And who knows? If I'm sending it back, who's to say they don't try and press it again and actually press it even better and it comes back a 9.6? I mean, I doubt that would happen, but how awesome would that be? But I'll still be happy with a 9.4. So they did make the mistake. Mistakes happen, and like I said, in 8 years, I can count on one hand how many times they were mistakes like that. Every company makes mistakes. So I don't give them a hard pass, even though some will say, oh, look what they did. Name me one of the grading companies that hasn't had a video where somebody was making mistakes. I do my videos live. I do them every month for almost 8 years. Every single video is up. I've never taken one of them down. So you could watch every single one of them. And you'll see time and time again, like 98% of the time, everything's perfect and everything's the way it should be. So I think they have, at least in as far as my experience is, a very good track run and a very good track record. And keep in mind, for the first 7 years, I wasn't paying anything other than the shipping costs. So it's only until recently that I have to pay the $50 to get them graded because unfortunately I don't have a big enough channel for them to warrant me getting all these books pressed, dry clean, signature verification, the grader's notes, and getting graded for free. And which I understand, I'm not a big channel, unfortunately, but even at $50, I'm fine. So it's not like they have this major thing where, oh, we have to make sure we get Chris's always perfect. Their priorities are the paying customers. That's why I don't get mine back as fast as somebody who pays. But even still, even with that, it takes what, a month and a half to maybe 2 months when they're really busy. I've never waited more than 2 months for any of my books. And at times like that, where I did have to wait 2 months, they actually sent 2 months worth of books in one shipping. So instead of getting four, I'd get eight. So anyway, mine is just to show my experience. You may have a different experience. You may have a different opinion. I'm not here to convince you to do anything. All I'm here to do is share my experience. It will either resonate with you or it will not resonate with you. So I'll leave that up to you to decide. And if you want to try PGX, if you send 10 or more books to PGX, use the code We Love Comics Free Press, and you'll get one of them pressed for free. I highly recommend indicating which particular book you would like to get pressed. Otherwise, they'll just randomly pick one for you. So this will be a no-brainer for the surprise subscriber shout-outs since we have 3 individuals in the live chat. So, Who Dat Comics and Movies, GT Key Comic, and Dan Lewis. All 3 of you are today's surprise subscriber shout-outs. You guys have been on here enough to know what you do in the comments section. I'm going to end this in a second, but like I said, I'm going to start a new video with the 2 EGS books I'm going to be sending to EGS. So if you're interested in those, you'll just have to refresh my page and look for a new video, which will be coming up within about 2 minutes after I shut this one off. Let me know what you think about the AI art. If you want to critique it, positive or negative, leave it in the comments section. Again, if you want to join my Patreon, join patreon.com/WeLoveComics, and you can get your name up on the board. Once we get to 20 paid members, we got a giveaway that we're going to be doing. Gary Hahn said, your AI art from your last video had my son question what I had been watching. He was hooking my phone up to my truck. Uh-oh. I'm assuming you're not talking about the Venom and the the Venom and the kitten. I'm assuming you're talking about the thumbnail from the previous video to that. So yeah, that's why I put the We Love Comics labels on it. So this way, you're not watching that and all of a sudden your wife or somebody comes in and they think you're watching like Pornhub or something. That won't be the type of videos I do very often. As a matter of fact, that thumbnail didn't even ask the AI art to do that. I just said put 4 superhero women And that's what it came up with. It was some new program they just had that day on the AI art. Every couple of months, they have a new improved thing that you can test out. So that was the first one I tested. I'm like, all right, looks good. I could just block out the naughty bits and I'll put that on, but that won't be the norm. But a lot of people said they like it. I kind of can understand why. But sorry to hear that with your son. Hopefully he is well, I guess at any age you get curious about certain things, but I'm sure that's what you're talking about. So anyway, I appreciate you bringing that up, but I definitely know what you're talking about. Let's get some trades happening. If you know anybody that has any of these books, or you have one of these books, maybe you have an extra one for all I know, and or you're just sick of seeing it and you want a whole bunch of other books. Let's make a trade happen. I'm going to keep doing it until I get it done. So if it takes 2 or 3 years, you know what? I'll be persistent. I'll be consistent, and show people that if you don't give up, your dreams will come true. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you appreciate it. I'm going to start the next video in about 2 minutes. And don't forget, it's not you. It is not I. It is we love comics. Thanks for watching, everybody.